things have been complicated. They've been quite difficult behind the scenes. And you know, drama is usually best savored when you're not involved in it. Not that I'm like really involved in it, but sort of, I guess, because it's my agency. I already knew, or you know, I was throughout the 2 years that I've been doing this. I think I've already started working my way towards, yeah, things are probably not always like super simple behind the scenes and challenging for VTubers or talents involved, and now I can categorically say without a shadow of a doubt that that is true. So there's two situations pretty much. The first one is that Grimmy, a VTuber, also a friend of mine, that Mythic has skimmed money off the top of a sponsor, basically shorting her. So this thread is saying this happened to the VTuber Grimmy. I don't want to blast her name in the title because she's already nervous about this, but feels she needs to spread the word. At the moment, there's any clips of this because it's a few hours old VOD, and I think she ended up privating the VOD. So Grimmy personally befriended a game publisher that had previously sponsored her before, and through speaking to them, discovered that there was a small discrepancy multiple times between what the negotiated amount was that she would be paid versus what she was actually paid for sponsorships. The negotiations are done between Mythic and the publishers. Talents don't see those documents/conversations. First instance, it's an Imgur image, and it's like you can see the deliverable, 1-2 hour Twitch streams, overlay, chatbot, pinned comment, offer $2,000 minus agency fee, which is 20%. And then Grimmie says, would it be possible to get the completed sign by both parties and contract for this? And then they respond, got the contract, our system state that it's actually $2,100 versus $2,000, so I dug into what happened, and it was a typo with the brand. So it was resolved between our sales team and their sales team, so we were always going to get the proper amount, just the information didn't quite reach me, which is obviously still an issue. I guess this is the Mythic rep responding, saying that it was a typo with the brand, and so it was resolved between our sales team and their sales team. So technically, she should be getting the full amount. The outcome of negotiation was that she would be paid $2,100. However, the contract she received from Mythic and signed was for $2,000, 5% difference. And then Mythic sent her the $2,000 she was expecting from the contract. When she alerted Mythic after finding out from the publisher, they told her that it was a typo on the publisher's end and that she was given the additional $100, the top bit. That's what we just saw in the screenshot. This is the second instance, which is a 4-hour stream, and the offer was $4,000 minus 20%. But what is really odd about this one is that the initial deliverable was a 2-hour Twitch stream. So like, why did the rep tell her that it was a 4-hour stream? That is the weirdest part. And then here it's missing $400. That's without the agency fees, right? So the offer here should have been $4,400 minus 20%. So Grimmie is basically saying that she's missing $100 off the first offer and then $400 off the second offer, totaling $500. She also says that this is the 2 screenshots she got permission to show, but there is more in case she goes to court. And then she says that Mythic refused to show her the negotiating documents between Mythic and the publisher after she requested them, only the contract that she signed. And 2, she has many more examples of this behavior, and I believe from multiple publishers, but this was the only publisher that gave her permissions to show evidence on stream and publicize. She says these are not the only incidents, and she's keeping those others private in case this is taken to court and if this has been done to more streamers and large streamers. So there's 2 situations unfolding in parallel. The second situation is that Mythic released a statement saying, we have spoken with Asmongold and mutually agreed to part ways. Mythic represents creators from a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives, and we are committed to fostering an environment grounded in respect and responsibility. We remain focused on supporting our creators and continuing our mission to help them build sustainable long-term careers. Take a look at the chat real quick and drink some water. $500 not enough to trust their lawyer. What if she has more? Then the amount could be more. How many talents have left recently? We'll get to that. All right, so the second situation is the Asmon statement, right? And people believe that it's linked to this tweet that we covered last stream about Casey Tron. So Casey Tron made a tweet the other day, which was like saying, this is all the brands and creators that are partnered with Asmongold talent agency Mythic Talent. So she's trying to put pressure on everybody that's involved from far or close to Asmon. Like, just because Mythic Agency is a front-facing company, she feels like she's got to drag them into this, and she even did like a really dirty move where she linked all the creators and all the brands in that tweet. And like, I get that she wants to go after Asmon for what he's saying, but she wanted to go after OTK. OTK is dead. All right, who's next in the list? Mythic Talents. She wants to drag Mythic into it. It's unfair for the talents. Obviously, we are different people than Asmon. It's unfair for the sponsors. They have nothing to do with him unless they directly sponsor him, then, you know, but it's isolating somebody like this is really part of cancel culture that I dislike the most. So people are saying that Mythic is doing the statement in response to this. Now, Mythic's statement claims that we have spoken with Asmongold and mutually agreed to part ways. Mythic represent creators from a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives, and we're committed to fostering an environment grounded in respect and responsibility. We remain focused on supporting our creators and continuing our mission to help them build sustainable long-term careers. So one thing I'll say is that Asmongold wasn't even really represented by Mythic Talent. He like owns share with Mythics, I believe, because he owned share with OTK and then OTK founded Mythics, right? But Asmon actually, as LSF knows, and if you're on that subreddit and you're in tune with what's going on with all the Vtubers, you know that Asmongold's been actually represented by Night Media, which is another very large agency, for a long time now. It's also, if you were present last stream, you know that you might have heard of Night Media because it's the agency owned by the CEO Reed, who wrote that article that everybody commented on, which was titled, "It's time to start viewbotting." It was sort of a clickbait headline, but you get the point. So one thing I'll say about the Mythic statement is that the timing of posting it right after, well, or shortly after that Casey Tron tweet makes it look like it was in response to it. And what I dislike about it is that now Casey Tron is like running her victory laps, and it would really be a shame for her to feel like now she's emboldened to do this and to bully Mythic into dropping every creator that she dislikes. I just hope that it's not going to come to that. And yeah, Night Media represents both Asmond, Hassan, and H3. H3 I fought as well. Like they have a lot of very big streamers. As I said, around the same time that this is happening, we also have Vienna, who parted ways with Mythic. A couple people asked, "I'm no longer with Mythic Talent. I love my time there, and being a part of some really cool projects like Beyond the Veil was really awesome." It's like an anime with Mythic Talent. "I appreciate everyone I work with throughout and their patience with me. Thank you so much, Mythic." And then she added, "I'd like to clarify that my leaving has nothing to do with anyone else, drama, or internal conflict of any kind. I just found a cool team I wanted to work with, and I'm giving that a try. Sometimes it's nice to explore new opportunities and work with new people. I only speak from my own experience. Please don't connect my leaving to anyone else or start drama on my behalf. Thank you." On Vienna's side, it seems amicable, and then there's Sans that says, "I just wanted to announce that I'm no longer a talent with Mythic Talent. Nothing bad, by the way. They've actually been super helpful in the past and brought me a lot of opportunities. I just would like to focus on being independent and myself going." And then there's this statement. Yeah, so Mythic here says, release a statement about the Grimmie allegations. "Mythic is aware of public statements made by former talent Grimmie regarding payment discrepancies. We take her allegations seriously and have conducted a thorough review of our records. The claims that Mythic skimmed funds from her 2 campaigns are factually incorrect. Our records indicate that Grimmie was paid in full for both cited activations. per contract terms and according to the terms of her talent agreement, which include an agreed upon management fee. The campaigns were valued at $2,100 and $4,400 respectively. In the first campaign, Grimmie was sent the full value of a $2,100 activation, less our agreed upon management fee, less any potential banking transaction fees on her end. In the second campaign, Grimmie receives a full payment of $4,400 for the campaign, less our management fee and any banking fees. Both of these payments were made within days of receiving payment from the brand. At Mythic Skim, the $100 and $400 amounts alleged by Grimmie, her payouts would have been significantly lower. Our payment platforms logs every transaction, and these figures are available for independent verification via her bank statements in our portal. If any payment inconsistencies have taken place or our figure above are incorrect, we encourage Grimmie to provide us these inconsistencies so that we may remedy them. While we attempted to reach Grimmie to clarify her grievances, she chose to make these claims public before a dialogue could occur. We have sent Grimmie the banking logs, contracts, invoices, and payment record receipts for these campaigns, and we remain open to reviewing any documentation Grimmie may have that contradicts them. We understand that miscommunication can and do happen, and that we are certainly not immune to them. Mythic remains committed to transparency and the success of our creators, and we will continue to foster an environment built on mutual respect and professional integrity. So they're saying it's due to banking fees or something, and that they have all the logs. Whatever it is, I do hope that both Mythic and Grimmie have all of the information to these claims, because if one of them is wrong about something, they're gonna get cooked. Following this, there's another creator called Chief GG, who's a Tarkov streamer, I believe, saying, I had a similar experience with Mythic, straight lied to about what the sponsor was offering, and it took me talking to the sponsor themselves to find out. Not surprised to see this. Used car salesman, 100%. And then there's other people that are speaking out. There's this creator who's a gacha creator. I've worked with Mythic Talent on many sponsorship deals over the years, totaling well over $200,000 in opportunities. I've never once been paid less than what was agreed upon. The payment structure was always clearly communicated, and every payout matched the terms of the deal. Even for non-paid collaborations like product review opportunities, they made sure the products were properly delivered and handled everything without asking for any extra charge. Personally, I find it hard to believe that a company would risk its reputation and long-term relationship over a few $100s. Just sharing my experience working with them. There's a bunch of people that like shared their own experience on both sides. There's also this guy, One Peg, saying, I was one of the first people signed to Mythic before they announced they were an agency even. I have been with them since before their announced beginning. For those that don't know, I was a financial planner for over a decade. I am a numbers guy. At no point has Mythic ever shorted me, ever. In many cases, they had secured contracts for significantly more than the going market rate on my behalf, and they have gone out of their way to go above and beyond for me in certain circumstances that I don't believe any other agency would have. It's never been less than extremely professional. I've never questioned whether I got paid my owed contracted value in full. I can't speak to anyone else, only myself. They've only done right by me for well over 150k worth of sponsorships over the last 4+ years. Darth microtransactions. Damn, I wonder what kind of games he play. That's probably gachas or some mobile games. With this current conversation going on about Mythic Talent Agency, I thought I would share my personal experiences since joining. I've never experienced an issue like this. Everyone I've interacted with has been professional and transparent, nor have I heard experiences from people about these issues until the tweets started arising. I'm not speaking to other people's experiences, but only putting my own out there for people who seem to be interested in the current allegations. My own experiences have been exceptional. I'm seeing people comment that creators should leave or be cautious. As someone who has been in multiple agencies, I have and still would recommend Mythic Talent to other creators. They had been attempting to recruit from me over a year, but after finally joining, I've seen a dramatic increase in revenue, collabs with other creators, and opportunities since joining. It has been a net positive, taking my own experiences as just that, my own experiences, but I do not regret my decision joining Mythic remotely. Somebody here warns him about speaking out. He's like, I guess this is made in good faith, but it's a losing proposition to post anything. People are gonna label you a shill or woke, not sure what the value to you is in posting this. And I guess this is kind of true whenever you speak out against the popular opinion, especially lately since people are like really against corporations. I'm not really interested in what's the correct move in this situation, he responds. I'm not an owner, I am a client they service. This is my experience with the product. It's a review. This is kind of what I was saying last stream, where we are clients in the agency. It's not that I'm just gonna repeat what I said. It's a service that we're purchasing from them basically, and the fee is a 20% that we give them on every sponsor that they bring in. The relationship with Mythic is more that I'm a client and they're a service that they provide to me, not that I'm an employee hired by them. A service can still scam their customers, of course, but I'm gonna talk about my own experience now. Not to take away from Grimmie's experience at all, and my own experience doesn't invalidate what Grimmie went through, and if she is lacking this money, she should absolutely be made whole, and they need to fix it. On my end, I did check the numbers and it all tallied up. My experience has been great with them. They've been super professional as well. So for now, there's no fire on my side. However, I will stay alert. Asmongold also commented on it.
Bad for Mythic. I did. So basically what happened is that, so I haven't really been involved like really with Mythic for like quite a while, but like they just put out a statement yesterday that are like, yeah, we're not involved with Asmongold. He's not, you know, part of Mythic or anything like that. And, you know, again, they kind of told me about this. I don't really give a shit. I've said it before, right? Is that like, and I'll say, if you saw us at the beginning of the stream, this is basically the same thing I'm going to say again, right? Is like, I am at the point right now of basically like, I don't really give a shit about any streamer stuff at all anymore. There is like 5 streamers that I care about, and then maybe 10 that like I give a shit about and I think matter and like have like, you know, an opinion or something like that that I think is worth considering. But other than that, I really just don't give a fuck anymore. I have gone through, I'm gonna be honest, I have gone through so much drama in the last 5 years. We all know the names, we know the problems, we know the situations, we know the players, and we know...
He's been involved in a lot of drama lately, like a lot of lawsuits and stuff. Like his friends are being exposed for like terrible stuff, and he's been repeating that for a while, that he just wants to do his own thing. He released a statement last year, I believe, saying he was stepping away from OTK, Mythic Talent, Starforge, etc. Kind of just reiterating the same thing, but with more details in this clip.
Oh, so I've been dealing with this shit for a long time. Like, there's been so many of my friends getting canceled, you know, everything, and it's exhausting to deal with, right? It really...
Yeah, I mean, OTK alone is like, has been a drama hive.
It is. It's like I'm playing like fucking, it's like the rapture is happening all around me and people are just being gamaged away, right? Like, and the reason why that they told me for this, like, again, like I don't want to be involved with any of this anyway, right? Like, I haven't been involved in like any decision making at Mythic for like, I don't know, probably like over a year. Like, I'm trying to think even the last time I even talked to somebody over there for something that was like business related, it's probably got to be over a year ago. And I just want to move on totally. And so that's the way I feel, right? That's really the truth. And you know, as I said, I mean, you look at the amount of dramas, the amount of like stress that something happened. Well, yeah, I mean, like if you look at like the amount of things that have happened recently, right? I mean, this is just like, I mean, remember the Tectone and Lucari thing? I mean, that was like within like 3 months ago. Like, it's always something. There's always someone. There's always some situation. And with streaming specifically, I just don't want to deal with it. I would rather advocate for things that I think are really meaningful and important, right? Like, I've drawn a lot of attention to, I think, think that the Iranians that are being killed regularly, and I've talked about, for example, that we'll do the fundraiser for the bald eagles, right? And so why am I in a world where I'm worried about what, streamers that get like 200 or like 1,000 viewers think about me? Like, why would I want to be in that world? Why would I want to put myself in that position? Maybe this is like a spicier take, but I find infinitely more willingness to collab with somebody who's not on Twitch versus somebody who is. One thing that I've learned about people on Twitch in general is that they are extremely sensitive to public sentiment, and to the extent that the connection with you, like basically people on Twitch, I think are a lot more sensitive in general. I love working with them. I think they're great people. I have zero animosity, and I think that these lies that are being spread about them, that they weren't making payments, they were like fucking skimming funds, are total fucking bullshit. And I don't know why you would say that without being absolutely fucking certain. So it's insane that you would even say this. But anyway, and I mean, to say this about a talent company like this is like one of the worst things you can say about a place like this. And it's like spreading that lie is ridiculous.
So it seems that Asmon is still on good terms with Mythic, still holds them in high regard. It's just that, from my understanding, he just wants to be able to say whatever the fuck he wants without having to worry about it splashing onto other people. Yeah, I think he's being really reasonable there. I think if you're the kind of person that wants to say like crazy stuff all the time, I mean, I'm not talking just about like a regular Republican opinion. Like I think there was a clip of him saying to commit some war crimes and stuff. Like, if you're gonna go there, then probably have the decency to remove yourself from situation that could hurt the people that you're working with, and he did. So I think it was kind of like gentlemanly of him. I think that's how that like you should have that awareness. At the same time, there was another talent that got dropped from Mythic. Nicholas Light reveals Mythic talent parted ways with him. Nicholas Light is an anime creator, like an anituber. If you watch my content, I barely had sponsors over the past few years, so this really isn't much of a difference. Oh. But I find the timing of this hilarious. They only want to work with liberals and creators with safe opinions now. I don't want to be associated with people that bend the knee. This isn't a loss for me, it's a win. I mean, I feel like he's probably incorrect here. I mean, he says in the tweet himself, he shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that the tweet, he shouldn't have admitted that he barely had any sponsors over the past few years, because by that, you kind of already admit that you weren't bringing anything to the table. Every business relationship is a two-way street. And I mean, if you're gonna go and tell people to kill themselves on the timeline, every contract has a morality clause, whether it's like a corporal contract, a merch contract, every single contract that you will ever sign will have that. Like, at the end of the day, people are trying to run business here. It's a dana relationship. Like, it's a two-way street. An agency doesn't owe you anything. Yes, they have to provide you with a service, but they also get to select who they're servicing too. Some people were alleging he made transphobic remarks that could have triggered it. I mean, look, I actually have nothing against Nicholas Light himself, but I understand why, as a company, you'd have to let go of people like that when, there's... I think he made his banner him telling somebody to kill themselves. I mean, we've seen it before in esports, people getting dropped for this. This isn't new. If you've been on the content creator scene for a while and you've been paying attention, it's always been like that. It's not coming as a shock. Asmon is a biased source. I mean, I've seen some crazy rats about Asmon leaving too. They're like, Asmon is the one skimming the money off Grimmie. I mean, I'm not sure Asmon was the one dipping his fingers in Grimmie's deal. I'm not sure what's going on that front, so I'm not gonna speculate and just to be wrong about it, because I actually don't have more info. I can only speak as to my own personal experience. Yeah, Asmon saw Grimmie's riches and got jealous. Then what happened next? Because it's not over, there's more. Grimmie Dam clapped back once again and she tweeted, "Hey, this is the third explanation they've given about these issues. I don't have anything against them, but so far they've claimed for the same publisher, negotiated with the same methods. It was a typo. They were agency fees. And now they're changing the story again and saying I was paid in full for an amount that they never showed me, but there's various banking fees." And I gotta say it's true that there's too many. It needed to be responded once clearly and with all the information in mind, instead of responding to her with different justifications, because it's making her lose faith in all of this. And now they're changing the story again and saying I was paid in full for an amount that they never showed me, but here's various banking fees. So which is it? I believe at this point they're trying to get a statement out first so they don't have to confront the other information they gave me or how I talked about the situation. I don't totally agree with this part, because she did get her statement out first. They're responding to it because it's taking such huge proportions. So here is mine. I don't want any money, I don't want any attention, and would prefer to go back to streaming normally, so I'm on break, hoping for things to calm down and waiting for attention to dissipate, not trying to capitalize off of it like some people have claimed. My intention with saying this is letting other streamers at Mythic Talent know that they should request their full negotiation records for sponsorships. That being said, everyone I talked to at Mythic Management is very pleasant. I liked everyone I worked with. I don't wish them any ill. Please don't be harsh on them. Everyone there is a person with a life, and this is stressful to go through for them too. I do not know who is involved with this. But please do not paint me as stupid or attack me after you've continued to give me different explanation. Please do not act like I did not understand my contract. You're taking an additional random amount off the top before presenting it to the streamer and taking the agreed 20%. Why are there 3 explanations for this now? If you can't believe me, that is fine. But it also looks like this is an isolated incident when people talk directly to sponsors involved with Mythic, and then she links that Chief GG tweet from the Tarkov streamer that we saw earlier. I don't know who's responsible for this, but I hope it gets resolved for everyone. Nothing against anyone here. I hope they're all well. I'm going back offline, but I felt it was important to respond to this, wishing everyone well. How is this bad for me? Okay, this person says, this ain't looking good for you. At least 2 other streamers looked into their deals because of you and found nothing. And she responds, how is this bad for me? They make no mention of seeing their negotiations or speaking to publishers. My experience with Mythic was also positive apart from finding this out from publishers, and Mythic given me so many different reasons as to why the records didn't match. It's going to be hard to get any talent agency to make you look at the negotiations, because then, and I've been through several agencies, so I know this is a consistent thing with all of them. But if they show you the negotiations, it's kind of like they're showing you how the sausage is made. Like, they would be showing you how they're pitching you, what's their marketing strategy to pitch you. They would be showing the contact emails. So it's kind of like if you're hiring a video editor and you're like, yo, show me how you're doing the video editing. And then after that, I mean, you don't need them anymore. You can just do it yourself, or you can get somebody else to do it. So I understand why a company would want to keep those back and forth confidential. Like, this is my own understanding of it. It's like a speculation, but I feel like there's probably a few reasons why they don't want to show the negotiations. It could be that. It could also be because, sometimes they pitch you with other creators. Maybe they're like, well, Rima didn't do that well in her last activation, but then maybe Mythic is like, yeah, but if you get Rima here, then I don't know, we'll throw in this other person. And so it's like you're also getting information on other talents and on what the sponsor would think about certain talents. So there's also the element of confidentiality and professionalism that goes into it. Like, I don't think it's that simple. I know I don't have all the answers you guys are looking for, and I wish I did, but this is kind of like what I'm figuring out. I think this is where I'm at, in my opinion of this. Of course, it's an ongoing situation, and this might change and evolve, but this is my understanding of how the business works. Hey, you! Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I'll see you in the next video.